apparently it was a little stuffy in the place. And over the course of, I mean, it never stopped him from yammering. By the end of, whoops, back up, you rat.
It's one thing.
Let me get out of here. He started getting schwitzy near the end. He seems to feel like a happy guy. Let's just, I mean, he says the same shit all the time, but let's.
Some ridiculous sex for American companies. I called him, I said, Emmanuel.
Oh, God. Emmanuel, I did this thing. If you will do 100% tariff on your cheese and your champagne.
I got Jerusalem, the capital of Israel, and built our beautiful building out of Jerusalem stone, right? Our beautiful old Jerusalem. You can't put two words together. He said, well, it's true, too. No.
He means you, stupid.
But we have a man who can't put two sentences together, and he's negotiating with people that, like President Xi of China, he's negotiating with people that are at the top of their game.
One moment, please. All right, this is just the silliest version of this article I've ever seen. Here you go. This is Xi Jinping has the HR problem from hell. The apparent purge of his foreign minister shows just how difficult it is going to be for China's leader to groom new talent. We may never know why China's foreign minister Qin Gang was removed from his post after barely serving 7 months, but the disappearance of the 57-year-old protege of President Xi Jinping reveals something far more worrisome than the possible whiff of scandal, the tough challenge the Chinese strongman faces in finding reliable younger leaders. That's the... So for those of you that don't know, his foreign minister just stopped showing up to things, and then he's just gone. China removed Qin Gang as its foreign minister just 7 months into the job, marking the shortest ever tenure for the role after the diplomat mysteriously disappeared from the public in June. Former envoy will be replaced by his predecessor, wonky. Just giving the guy the job back. Without giving any explanation for the abrupt personnel change, the nation's top legislative body made the announcement at a snap meeting on Tuesday. The report didn't directly mention whether Qin retained his state councilor title or a more senior position. The meeting comes a day after Xi Jinping gathered his top decision-making Politburo to discuss economic policy and, quote, other issues, according to that meeting's readout. While Qin's unseating ends speculation over his official status after he dropped from public view for a month, it does little to answer more fundamental questions over the reason for the absence of an official considered one of President Xi Jinping's hand-picked ministers. Dude lasted 7 fucking months. Disappeared, and then when he resurfaced, they replaced him with somebody else. Yeah, but I'm sorry. What was that again? He's top of his game? That's right. Top of the, what does he say?
Two sentences together, and he's negotiating with people that, like President Xi of China, he's negotiating with people that are at the top of their game. There's nobody in Hollywood that can play the role of some of these people.
Again, what the fuck does that mean? Does he think that is he trying to flatter them? Is this him kissing Xi Jinping's ass? That Xi Jinping is a beautiful, attractive man, and there just aren't any attractive Asian men in the world. I gotta say, like Andy Lau, Jackie Chan, Chow Yun-fa, Donnie Yen, all too good looking to play. They would need major prosthetics to play Xi Jinping. I don't know what the fuck that means. And Jackie Chan is probably the closest because he's like 2 decades older than Xi Jinping.
These are smart, tough killers.
And they don't respect us. We don't have the respect of killers.
Macron of France, and you...
Sammo Hung would be great. Yeah, Sammo's amazing. But I don't know that he would.
Heard this story maybe quickly, because I'm sweating like a dog up here.
Blech.
But does anybody want me to stop, or should we go forward? Macron of France.
No, that's him. Just he knows the audience is getting bored, and he knows this is a story. The kid's there too young he thinks the audience is too young to understand or give a fuck about geopolitics.
Macron of France.
Yes, the guy that fucked your wife. No, that was Justin Trudeau. I'm sorry, it's the French names.
He put a big tax. He wanted to put a big tax on our companies doing business in France. I said, you can't do that. I gave it to my people to do. They weren't able to do anything about it. 2 weeks, they come back. Sir, he's very strong on that. He wants to do it. I think it was like a 25% tax.
Yeah, that's a good point. The chat is pointing out that dogs do not indeed sweat. That's why they pant. They don't have sweat glands. Otherwise, they wouldn't. It's just, man's never had a pet.
Ridiculous tax for American companies. I called him. I said, Emmanuel.
I loved your softcore porn movies in the late 70s. Used to watch them on Skinamax.
Thank you very much, you're my friend, but you can't put the tax on. If you do, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to put a 100% tariff on all of your wines and champagnes that I don't even like. I'm going to put a 100.
I like you, but I don't like anything, your wines and champagnes that I don't even like. Okay, first of all, fuck off. You don't get points for not liking French wine and champagne. First of all, it's only champagne if it comes from France. Otherwise, it's sparkling white wine. I don't even drink, and I know that.
100% tariff on wines and champagnes coming out of France and coming into... No, Donald, you cannot do that. I said, I can do that. You have 10 minutes to tell me. He said, I give up, and he took off the tax. That's what happened.
That's what happened. 10 minutes. He said, I give up. Let's see. This is champagne shoes on this trader. There we go. And by the way, all of this argument, all this stuff was done by Robert Lighthizer. Lighthizer a good negotiator. He knows what he's doing. He was the single competent person in Trump's, in his group, and that's why he was able to negotiate the USMCA stuff. He's just a normal, competent guy. Just managed to, because of what was necessary in most of these things, with the exception of the China trade war, which became another thing entirely. He was able to negotiate quite good arrangements. But anyways, this wasn't Trump. Trump's latest trade war. This is from 2019. French champagne versus Google taxes. And by the way, our products is what he was saying. Okay. First, France went after Google and Amazon with a fresh set of taxes. On Monday, President Trump threatened to retaliate against two beloved French exports, champagne and cheese. He always says wine and champagne instead of champagne and cheese. Whatever. The latest just pits Trump against a longstanding ally months after France approved a digital services tax aimed at making major U.S.-based tech companies like Google, Apple, Facebook, and Amazon fork over more revenue. The issue had been on the back burner since August, after Trump and French President Emmanuel Macron agreed to a 90-day truce while they tried to reach a long-term agreement on how tech companies should be taxed. That deadline passed last week without a deal. On Monday, the office they released results of an investigation that determined that France's tax unfairly discriminates against U.S. big tech companies. If another solution isn't worked out, tech companies could pay hundreds of millions more dollars in taxes, and U.S. consumers would have to pay double for Dom Perignon, Le Creuset, cookware, and Roquefort cheese. U.S. officials also indicate why would French start a tax war with tech companies? Some European countries have been moaning for years about missing tax revenue from tech giants, many of which have hundreds of millions of users across the region but pay almost nothing in national coffers. Broader digital tax proposals at the European Union went nowhere, so individual countries pushed ahead on their own. Why is Trump sticking up for them? It's complicated. He's repeatedly accused Twitter, Facebook, and Google of censoring him. Trump's most acrimonious tech relationship is with Amazon and its CEO, Jeff Bezos, whom he repeatedly bashed on Twitter. Trump champions some tech innovation, however, given its potential to grow the economy. U.S. is the leader in robotics, driverless cars, artificial intelligence. Trump has defended the tech industry on the internet. What do champagne cheese? Can Trump beat the French? And this is, how does this end? Discussions are taking place. In October, the Organization for the Economic Cooperation and Development, a group of mostly rich nations, announced it would create a global set of rules to divvy up some of the profits created by the world's tech giants. The hope is for an initial agreement. That's how it happened, by the way. That's how this ended up playing out, was they just decided on a general rule. The hope is for an initial agreement in early 2020 about how individual countries can impose their own tax rules. Even the French and Americans have shown a willingness to work with each other despite the ongoing threat of potential economic sanctions. But with roughly 6 weeks to go before the OECD's self-imposed deadline to reach the worldwide agreement, any renewed tension between the U.S. and France could throw the years-long negotiations into jeopardy. It didn't happen right away in 10 minutes. This is this was where it ended. This is where they're like January 20th, 2020. Here's why it didn't go forward. Does anybody know? Maybe the date might have something to do with it. Right in the middle of all this shit going down, French President Emmanuel Macron said on Monday that he had a great discussion with U.S. President Trump over a digital tax planned by Paris and said that two countries would work together to avoid a rise in tariffs. The two leaders agreed to the truce after Paris offered to suspend down payments for the year's digital tax, and Washington promised to keep negotiating toward a solution rather than acting on a tariff threat. Specifically, Macron and Trump agreed to hold off on a potential tariff war until the end of 2020. That's why it didn't happen. Because it was January 20th, 2020. Because COVID was breaking. This was only part of a conversation that they had about what's this thing from China that's affecting everything. The entire, airline flights out of China shut down 3 days later. Italy was already being hit hard with deaths. That's why it ended. What a jackass.
I gave it to my geniuses. They couldn't. Sure, there's no way we can stop it. It was passed by his legislature. To stop Biden's inflation catastrophe.
Yeah, that's not anywhere close to what actually happened at all.
Bring down the cost.
I'm sorry. What was that word?
Geniuses, they couldn't. Sure, there's no way we can stop it. It was passed by his legislature. To stop Biden's inflation catastrophe, bring down the cost of energy and become energy independent and even energy dominant. We are just 3 years ago, we were energy dominant. We were energy independent, but we will.
One moment, please. One moment, please. I'll be with you. Talk amongst yourselves. March 7th, 2023. Come along with me, if you will, to a little story on Yahoo Finance. We've been talking about this for a while because he's been bitching about this and making no sense for a long time. A recent Citibank research note got my attention. Total gross crude and other liquid exports hit a record of 11.128 million barrels per day, more than the total output of either Russia or Saudi Arabia, Citi Energy analyst wrote on March 1st of 2023. U.S. net crude imports fell to lows not seen since the 1950s. You won't hear the Biden administration bragging about these fossil fuel developments, but they're welcome nonetheless. More U.S. energy production will put downward pressure on gasoline and electricity prices and make the United States less vulnerable against Russian efforts to use energy as a weapon. Many Americans think U.S. energy independence is a thing of the past, overtaken by President Biden's focus on green energy. But Citi is highlighting data showing that that American dependence on foreign energy has continued to decline under President Biden, even besting levels reached under President Trump, who championed fossil fuels. Okay, that's back in March. This has been an ongoing thing, and I love you guys, and hello. Yes, 2023, I don't remember who's president in 2023. It's been so long. I mean, honestly. And then on top of that, let's see. Let's see. Now, Yeah, let me try this. Now, I know Trump's going to hate this chart, but let me run this by you again. Trump fans, maggots, you're in the. I love you guys. It's so nice when you're here. Do we have any trolls here today? Welcome them in. Gather around, guys. Give me a second, because you're gonna have to. Because this is one of those moments where I get to point out how this guy knows fuck all about anything. He doesn't know anything. He's full of shit across the board. Okay. This guy, total gross crude and other liquid imports, hit a record of 11. A record. Hit this record. What's the record? What was the record? 11.128 million barrels per day, more than the total output of Russia or Saudi Arabia. Right? That's a big number. It's a big thing. Obviously, it's a record, right? We were energy dependent. Okay. Cut to now. 12.60 barrels per day for the week of August 4th, 2023. This would be the chart here. Let's say a year to date. Let's say with how about 3 years? What do you think there? Anybody? Let's go 5 years. What do you think? There's 2020. There's the crash. There you go. Yep. Kapow. This is, and where's this rise coming from? 10 years. Let's look at this. This is 2019 to 2010. Why does this only give me a 10-year? Why does it go max? Give me the max of this thing. No, it only does that part. I see. There you go. And then boop, boop. All these dumps through here. Let's go to the 1 year. Boink. Let's go to this is the 3 year into COVID, obviously. This is where Biden takes over. And then we have a couple of drops because of emergencies and awfuls. This is like Delta, essentially. This is Delta. This is the initial like pre-vaccine stuff right around here. U.S. crude oil field production is at a current level of 12.6 million, up from 12.2 last week and up from 12.10 1 year ago. This is a change of 3.28% from last week, 4.13% from a year ago. U.S. oil production measures the daily number of barrels produced in the United States in oil fields. The numbers released by the EIA can give an idea of the total supply of oil available in the U.S. Historically, crude oil production had been declining in the U.S. in the 80s and 90s, but began a precipitous rise in 2010 to 2018 due to new methods of extracting oil like hydraulic fracturing. Let's see, latest value, blah, blah, blah. And so the fracturing bump that we see here, it was going up in this, basically it was like at this level here. And then, I think, is this a level? A crude oil field production. Okay. So this is from hydraulic fracturing that was available. That's the Russia area, which is, by the way, this is where the where is it? Yeah, there is June 5th of 2020. This is when Trump was negotiating to try and get the Russians and the Saudis to raise prices again because they had they basically lowered oil prices so much that production cadavered. We were all around when that happened, but there you go. Let's see. 12.10, 12.3, 12.3, 12.3. Okay, and then I can see. View and export this data back to 1983 upgrade. I'm not going to update now. But there we go. So just there you go. More oil exports for everybody. U.S. exports exceed imports last year. Hey, look at that. U.S. exports exceeded imports last year. That's a fucking first. Look at this. What's that business? This would be the import-export line. We actually sold more than we used. And again, this is why we want electric cars, folks. Okay.
Drill, baby, drill. We are going to be drilling and bringing it way down.
And bringing it way down. No, we're not.
To bring 10,000. Yeah. It's going to bring tens of thousands more manufacturing jobs back to New Hampshire. We already did it. We made this place very successful. You know, anything.
Yeah, you just don't know. If you don't have a job right now, you're a fucking loser because he fixed it and then it went out.
That's good that's happening with the economy. It's Only because they're running on the fumes of what we built. You understand that? They're running on the fumes, but those fumes can't last much longer.
No. They're going to die down anytime. Those good old Trump fumes. It's been practically 3 fucking years.
And they just pour.
And by the way, then explain 2017 and 18, and then your policies, and then the crash of oil production in the United States after that, Mr. Fumes.
Pouring money out, all these crazy deals. This Inflation Reduction Act, $1.7 trillion, and it increases inflation. But they're running on the...
It does? How did it do that? How did it increase the inflation? Anybody know? Is he not going to say? Just going to say because it's the it's the unselected
fumes of what we did, and we did an incredible job. I will impose a border tariff on all foreign-made goods coming into this country.
A border tariff on all foreign-made goods. Okay, so I guess this is a good time as any to just say goodbye to Texas. Texas, I'm sorry, but you're fucked because your entire economy is based almost completely on goods that come in via Mexico. And anybody who, I guess, makes anything outside the country, again, I don't know a single business person who thinks this makes any fucking sense. Anybody? No? Mm-hmm. What was what? Did somebody trying to say something? You crazy you? Anybody want there? Okay. So just for the record, we are technically energy independent and energy dominant right now because our output is higher than Russia and Saudi Arabia, and as of March of this year, and we are exporting more than we are importing, so we are using less and less. Again, electric cars, hydrogen cars, or hybrid cars will solve that issue. Yeah, and the PACT Act is wonderful, but I mean Trump's against that, so you got to understand.
And I will pass the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act very quickly. That is, if India, China, France, anybody, Germany, they charge us, we don't charge them because we had stupid people. And I started changing that a lot, but then we had COVID, we had to fix that mess. But all a gift from China. But reciprocal trade, if they're charging us
Again, is he making the case that they did it on purpose? Because if he is, it's his fault. If you're president of the United States when the country is attacked with a bioweapon, it's your ass.
100% for a motorcycle. When we do a motorcycle, we charge them 100%. Right now, they charge 157% for a motorcycle. Harley would have to send. So what does Harley do? They have to go and build a plant in India, or they have to go and build. No more. No more. We were all set to do this, too. It was all set. We had a couple of stupid senators that didn't like it. One of them, coming from Pennsylvania, said to me, "Sir, this is..."
Yeah, I believe this. What? What is it? Hold on. Is there... What am I hearing? Who could that be? Who's a boy? You guys hear that? What? What are you doing? What's happening? What are you doing? What? You gonna cry outside the door? Huh? No? What do you want? What's going on? I gave you a snack earlier. You just there to say hi to everybody? Hello. Look at this boy. Look at the handsome boy. Look at this chipper. He's such a handsome boy. Yes, he is. What's going on? He's like, more pets, please. Well, I'm doing a show. I still got a show to do. Come here, you. Come here, you. Come here, you big boy. Big boy. What you doing? All right. What are you doing? What you doing? Mm-hmm. There he is. That's a so cutie. That's a sweet boy. Can I help you? Can I get you a snack after I'm done? Is that okay? Can I do a show? Can I do a show? All right. Yeah. All right. Okay. Shoo. I'll be out in a minute. I can't. These kids today. Am I right? I mean, honestly. I got to work for a living. By the way, like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. Venmo. Infotainmentwars.com. We don't need the documents. We have cats, apparently. It's so cute. I think you can see on the if I turn on the cat cam, you see the little thing I put under the door that's like a right there. That's it's one of those like anti-draft things you put on a door or whatever, and I use it to keep stop bothering the fam with noise. And he has figured out that it doesn't fit completely across the door. And it used to be kind of like I had a little bit on either side of it. And he has worked it down. So it is packed up against the door jamb. And there's like just a chip paw size hole right where the door, right in this, right here. Look at this shit, right here, right there. And he will sometimes reach up under there and do that. Like there's a kid today. I mean, honestly. Resistance is futile. Absolutely. Holy shit. All right, let's finish up this idiot and watch him sweat and get mad.
It's not free trade. I said, wait a minute, this country, I won't tell you which, is charging us 200%. We charge them nothing. Would it be okay if I charged them half, 100%? No, sir, that's not free trade. How about 50%? How about 25%? How about 10%? He said, no, sir, it's not free trade. I said, you're either corrupt or you're stupid as hell, because it's crazy. So we're going to pass it.
Also, that conversation never happened. There was no situation where somebody's charging us 200% on something and we're not going to charge them on an equal item coming into the country at all for whatever the fuck. Unless, like, that's just stupid. Honestly, I think he was talking to Eric.
So if they charge us, very simple, we charge them, and it's probably all going to disappear. The Biden economic bust will be replaced with the historic Trump economic boom. I will immediately terminate.
Yes, the Trump economic boom, because Biden boom drives him fucking crazy. And there is a Biden boom, for the record.
Jella boom.
Yep.
Boom, yeah. I understand boom.
Big Biden boom.
Bada boom.
Biden boom.
Big.
Big.
Yeah, big bada boom.
Big Biden. Big.
Bada big
Biden
boom.
big boom.
Big
Yeah.
boom.
Big Biden
Yeah,
boom.
big bada boom.
Bada boom.
Big boom. Big bada boom.
Every open borders policy of the Biden administration.
So none of them.
Our country is being invaded. Following the Eisenhower model, we will use all necessary state, local, federal, and military resources to carry out the largest domestic deportation operation in American history.
Gotta do it. Gotta just go door to door, throwing people out of the country. Anybody, like 11 million people, just drive them right to the border. Fuck them. That's what's gonna happen. Again. Whew. I mean, that is a serious policy. Like, that is something like like going to Congress. He's saying this, and that's fine because it's insanity and it's gross and he's an asshole and a bigot and whatever. But just work on it as a budget problem for a moment. Just run it through your head and go, all right, what would that entail? What would be the policy shift in that? How would you organize that? What would it fucking look like with, trucks of INS going door to door in neighborhood, like checking everyone in the country's papers? Yeah, ding dong, get in the van. Exactly.
Gotta do it. And
No, we don't.
will use Title 42 to end the child trafficking crisis by
Title 42 caused it.
Turning
What child trafficking crisis there may have been, or simply just women and children coming across the border and being trafficked, as far as like paying or having to mule drugs or whatever to try and make it through, and the fact that if they got caught and sent back, they could try again immediately and it wouldn't be a mark on their record, so they could go multiple times. That was caused by Title 42.
traffic children to their families in their home countries immediately.
Traffic children to their families in their home countries immediately. So they're going to take, again, how do you? What's the arrangement? How's this going to work, if at all? But let's just say, what are you going to do? You're going to do DNA tests on people. You're going to send teams of lawyers and doctors down to these places and do DNA swabs of everybody in a generalized, that's your fucking baby. You can't lie. We're gonna put Maury Povich in charge of the process.
To stop the Marxist prosecutors who release rapists and murderers while persecuting Republicans, conservatives, people of faith, and me, by the way, I will direct...
Yes, because he doesn't consider himself any of those things.
...a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate...
Overhauled? What? I'm sorry, he's going to do what to the DOJ? Is it going to have a completely overhauled?
...while persecuting Republicans, conservatives, people of faith, and me, by the way, I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate...
A completely overhauled? Yeah.
We're going to be appointing very pro-crime judges.
Completely overhauled.
Every radical DA and AG in America for their illegal, racist in reverse enforcement of the law.
Racist in reverse, like reverse racism isn't a thing. It's just racism anyways. But but when he says racism in reverse, it sounds like that's not fair. People of color aren't supposed to treat me like I treat them.
And we will bring back a thing called stop and frisk in our cities.
Yeah, you can't do that. You can't federally impose stuff like that. Run for mayor, asshole. Of Miami. Knock yourself the fuck out.
On day one, I will sign...
Again, can we just say, for the record, this is supposed to be the head of the Republican Party. This is supposed to be small government conservatives. And this asshole is saying that the federal government is going to do a door-to-door knocking campaign to kick people out of the country if they've overstayed their visa by 24 hours, or if they snuck in the country and they've been living here for a decade and a half, living under a fake Social Security number where they'll never get their Social Security benefits, but they've been an active employee at a company like Mar-a-Lago for a fucking decade.
A new executive order to cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, transgender, insanity, and other inappropriate...
Define transgender insanity. Because I don't think any of them teach that. Even the most extreme ones.
Racial, sexual, or political content on our children, our beautiful children.
Yeah, like the dude who literally is like, raising children is women's work.
Our beautiful children are being destroyed by these...
And he means beautiful children.
...maniacs. I will keep men out of women's sports. It's very easy to do.
It's very easy to do? No, it isn't. He's just mad and grossed out, and he hates this crowd.
And I will sign a law prohibiting child sexual mutilation in all...
Yeah, he's going to end circumcision.
50 states. Can you imagine?
Can you imagine? Yes, I can imagine a law that would outlaw circumcision. I would love to hear you argue it.
Can you imagine even having to say that? Think of this. 15 years ago, could you imagine, I will stop child sexual mutilation? Can you imagine having to, that's actually a part of my campaign. Can you imagine having to say that we're going to stop the mutilation of children? Just as I did.
Yeah, I think that's the least of your worries. Aren't you the one saying that Democrats want to like bash a kid's head on a rock right after, within weeks of him being born? The fuck out of here.
For 4 years, I will fully uphold the Second Amendment. It's going to be in good shape.
It's fine now.
And I will fully secure our elections. They'll be done the right way.
Republicans will always win.
Our goal will be one day voting with paper ballots and voter ID. That's what our goal is.
All right. So he's going to fund a national ID for everyone.
But until then, Republicans must compete, and we must win. 2024 is the most important election we've ever had.
Well, yeah, it's the only one you really give a shit about because it's your last chance to stay out of jail, in theory.
But this is what we must do to restore our country to greatness. The USA is a mess.
No, it really isn't. The world's been through a rough patch, but by comparison, the U.S. is doing fucking spot on.
Our economy is crashing.
No, it really isn't.
Inflation is out of control.
No, it's actually coming down.
China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea have formed together as a menacing and destructive coalition like we've never seen before.
And we're not even seeing now.
Our currency is crashing and will no longer, in my opinion, be
Our currency is crashing and it's
formed together as a menacing and destructive coalition like we've never seen before. Our currency is crashing and will no longer, in my opinion, be the world standard if it keeps going like this, which will be the single greatest defeat of our country in 200 years. We lose the power of the dollar. It won't happen with me, not even a little chance. Just like Russia would have never invaded Ukraine and China would have never even thought about raiding Taiwan. They wouldn't have done it.
Well, raiding Taiwan? First of all, they've been talking about reunification forever.
I told them you're not going to do it.
I told them don't do the thing with the thing.
If you took the 5 worst presidents in the history of the United States and added them up, they would not have done near the destruction to our country as Joe Biden and the Biden administration have done. We are a failing nation.
Are we? Are we though? I mean, I'm not Pollyanna-ish about this stuff, but let's look at a couple of measures that this asshole say. What do you got here? Okay, there's that. Add this one up, and then we'll go to let's see. Okay, so here's if I might, here's the unemployment numbers right now. 3.5% unemployment rate. Total unemployed people, there are 5.8 million people without a job, and 2 million who are making unemployment insurance claims that have in July or whatever, as this updated July. Okay, this is their standard unemployment. Total unemployed people is 5.8 million people, 5.84 do not have a job. Unemployment insurance claims. This would be the 2020 spike, and then look, it's just it. Look at how it just kind of went. I got bang, and then it goes right back to normal. Look at 2009. Look how bad 2009 was comparatively. And remember 2008. Remember how 2009. Like all this time, everybody was like, fuckity, 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 fuck. That during that whole like ride down the moguls on that wintry slope economically after 2009. And that was, look at the impact of COVID. Look at this shit. Everybody stopped working. Now, that's different than everybody losing their job because of funding and because money had been fucked with. And so it was everybody just stopped working. It was not quite the same thing. But a bunch of companies right about here. And there's a lot of similarities between, the impact of COVID and the impact of the 2008 one in terms of businesses that went out of, that went under. And then if you wanted to just start a new business, you're ice skating uphill and you're not able to get funds and blah, blah, blah. And so the fact that it was like starting to, the unemployment was kind of going back down. Here's this little stagger right here. Where is it? July 2021. This is December 21. Where is it? Here's January 2nd, 6.2 million people. 6.2 in December, and then we get back in there. Here Biden takes office. I'm trying to find it closer to. There you go. There's January 23rd. Get back at it. There you go. 5.9. So 6 million people. And basically 2 days after Biden takes office, there's 6 million people out of work. By December, there were 2.2. That went down, went back up a little bit. Obviously, Russia's war and all that kind of stuff. But right now, we are at 1.982 unemployment insurance claims. Yeah, this is the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Let's see. I think the unemployment rate. Here it was when Biden started. Basically, and that's July actually, but it started in there a little early, and then you go January 22, had a little spike in non-farm payroll employment. These are the jobs added, so they're cooling off. There's big spikes. These are the seasonally adjusted ones, and then we get back into normal because we're almost to the point of full employment. Temporary layoffs, good time. The number of long-term unemployed whose job is 27 weeks was a little changed at 1.2 million in July and accounted for 19% of all unemployed persons. So 80% of the people who are unemployed are only short-term unemployed. Labor force participation was 62.6% for the fifth consecutive month. Employment population ratio at 60.4% remained little changed in July. The number of persons employed part-time for economic reasons at 4 million changed little in July. These individuals who would have performed full-time employment were working part-time because their hours had been reduced or they were unable to find full-time jobs. That's the idea. So, no, the country's not fucked. There's always room for improvement, I think. Right? Let's see. U.S. inflation means families are spending $700 more per month than 2 years ago. This is their... Oh, I remember that dude. Didn't he get busted for sending dick pics or something? U.S. inflation has had a snowballing effect on family budgets. The typical American household spends $709 more in July than they did 2 years ago to buy the same goods and services, according to Moody's. Of course, they were doing more stuff. They were doing it more often. That figure underscores the cumulative high impact inflation has had. High inflation over the past 2.5 years has done lots of economic damage. Most of the increase in spending is driven by housing costs, which have surged. Zandy told CNN that's because people moved into a newer, bigger house, too. So your house payment might have gone up, but you have a bigger place. And you're working from home, so whatever. Anyways, of course, paychecks have also grown over the past few years, but not as much as the cost of living. That's to say that, though, the inflation, because it was spiked because it was not a monetary policy, it was supply shock. At the end of the day, your rise in wages stay up. Inflation-adjusted earnings are stuck in 2019, even though prices have soared. Real earnings, adjusted for inflation, are stuck at 2019 level. Real earnings remain below what they would have been if not for the pandemic and the Russian war, which is weighing on the collective psyche. Zandy told it in an email on Friday. Good news is that wages are finally starting to outpace inflation, and consumer price growth has eased significantly, so much so that many investors are betting that the Federal Reserve is done raising interest rates. This is the other part. Americans' wages are finally outpacing inflation. Here's why it may not last. I love these people. This is July. U.S. wages have been on the rise, but it sure hasn't felt like it for more than 2 years. Persistent and pervasive inflation has taken bites out of America's paychecks. That's finally starting to change now that inflation is waning. In June, for the first time in 26 months, U.S. workers' real weekly earnings, a week's worth of wages adjusted for inflation, grew on an annual basis, according to data released this week by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Annual real wages are up 0.6% last month, a rate that's a tick below the 0.7 gain seen in February of 2020. June also marked the second consecutive month of year-over-year hourly wage growth. The first back-to-back months of gains since 2021.
I don't like saying that.
Yeah, you do. You say it all the time, and it isn't true. So if it's oh, sorry, I put the wrong screen. If it's a lie and you say it, then you like saying the lie. You don't have to lie.
We are.
Maybe he does. Maybe it's a compulsion.
We are a failing nation.
No, we're not.
We're a nation in decline.
No, not true either.
And now these radical left lunatics want to interfere with our elections by using law enforcement, the DOJ, and the FBI.
Well, I think I think ultimately, the Republican Party want to completely throw their chances by electing a future felon. Why is it our fault? We didn't make you commit the crimes.
It's totally corrupt, and we're not going to let it happen.
It is happening. It's happening. What do you mean you're not going to let it happen? What does that mean? Obviously, that sounds like a death threat, but I don't expect you to do anything. So we're not going to let it happen. That's just something. Is that just something you say in Trump world? Because your son says it all the time, too.
2024.
You mean 2024?
I have no idea how important it is. It's our final battle. Corrupt, and we're not going to let it happen. 2024.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big time span, obviously, from the year 224, which, of course, predates the Congress of Nicaea. I mean, at that point, they didn't even have a Bible worked out. They hadn't even found the jars the Gospels were in.
I have no idea how important it is. It's our
No, they don't really. You should tell them.
final battle.
Start back at the top. Just start over.
It's our final real big battle. With you at my side, we will demolish the deep state. We will expel the warmongers from our government.
The warmongerins. What's a warmongerin?
It's our final battle. It's our final real.
It's our final real battle, but the start of many fake battles.
I know words. I have the best words. Big battle. With you at my side, we will demolish the deep state. We will expel the warmongers from our government.
The warmongerins. Sure.
We will drive out the globalists. We will cast out the communists, Marxists, and fascists. We will.
He's trying to do some alliteration to try and build a swelling activity. We'll cast out the communists. We will make out with the Marxists. Fuck, that doesn't.
Throw off the sick political class that hates our country. We will rout the fake news media. We will defeat crooked Joe.
Rout them? You're not in competition. There's not an election for. Never mind.
Joe Biden, and we will drain the swamp once and for all.
Yeah, you just didn't have a shot when you were only in there for 4 years, and apparently you had a lot of golfing to do, I guess. By the way, they are cheering a lot because it's a youthful crowd compared to what he's normally around, but he's so fucking hot, so fucking bored, in so much trouble that he does not give a fuck. He is over it. Look at him. They're yelling, drain the swamp. Yeah, he was there for 4 fucking years, dummy. You do realize he had a shot. He could have done it, but he didn't.
10,000 known or suspected gang members.
Mm-hmm.
I had to beat off.
Mm-hmm.
The great
Just miserable. Just the fucking side grind.
silent majority is rising like never before. I mean, never before. It's never been. I don't believe it's ever been like this. I said it twice tonight. I'll say it again.
Yes, you're nothing if not repetitive. And by the great silent majority, he means racists.
We have never had anything like it. The spirit, the love, the passion. There's never been any.
Now he's turning into Engelbert Humperdinck. I do these songs because there's so much trouble in the world. What we don't have is love, ladies and gentlemen. We don't have love. We don't have it. Without love, what have you got? You got a nice cannoli and a trip to Six Flags twice a year.
Anything like this. And we went through 2016 and we went through 2020, and most people would say they were the most passionate. This is blowing it away.
Mm-hmm.
But we've never had anything like this, never before. And
Never. It's like at a level that no one's ever even seen before at this level.
under our leadership, the forgotten man and women will be forgotten no
I think men and women, right? Or is it just one guy? It's just one guy.
longer. With your help, your love, and your vote, we will put America first. We will make America. We're going to make America greater than ever before. We're going to make it great. It's hard to believe right now. Our country is at such a low point. We will make
America great over and over. Magoo. Hashtag Magoo.
America greater than ever before. Thank you, New Hampshire. God bless you. God bless you, New Hampshire. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thanks very much. I do it. Think. Bye. Hey, you. Hey. Yes, young. I want to touch you and put my thumb there Yeah, okay, yeah. Everybody likes it when I do the really goofy fucking dance. I'm over it. Get the fuck out of here. Thanks. Shake my sweaty hand, you shiny bald bastard. You're sweating like I am. I'm sweating. Hey, there's you. I don't know who you are. That's everybody. Huh? This guy. Okay, thanks, buddy. Thanks. It's sweaty. I'm fucking off. I'm gonna go take a shit. Okay, bye. See you later. Okay, thank you. Why'd you turn the music off? Don't turn my music off. Bye. Squirt, squirt. Rather. God damn, that was hot. Fuck that shit. I don't need that. Just send me money, you bastards. That's it. That's the tail end of his whole thing. Now, he did a lot more, but I don't care. It's going to be a bunch of repeated shit.